Welcome home, neighbors.
Welcome home, neighbors.
Hello, neighbors.
We're listening from
Arizona,
Florida,
Maryland,
New York,
New Jersey,
Indianapolis,
California,
Utah,
Michigan,
Iowa,
Massachusetts,
Georgia,
Canada,
Our home resort is
Animal Kingdom,
Polynesia,
Bay Lake Tower,
Old Key West,
Riviera,
Boardwalk,
Alani Resort,
Hilton Head,
Boulder Ridge,
Copper Creek,
Grand Floridian,
Saratoga Springs,
Beach Club,
and Wilderness Lodge.
and you're listening to
and you're listening
You're listening to my
Well, welcome home, everybody, to the January 17th edition of Community Hall Live. My name is Chad Pennycuff, and I host a weekly conversation here, or actually, me and the team does. There's a whole team of people that put this show on every single week. I happen to be the lead host, but the next 2 weeks, I won't be doing this. We'll have some other people doing it because I will be going to Alani for my first visit. And I am really looking forward to that one as well. So before we get going, the only way I can afford the trip last week and the trip to Alani is we do have some sponsors and some Patreons, and due to their generous support, so I want to do a shout out and thanks to DVC Resale Market, the #1 DVC reseller in the world. Every single one of their guides is a former direct Disney employee, so you can get that same Disney experience without having to pay the Disney price tag. DVCResaleMarket.com. Let them know you heard about them here on the My DVC Points platform. So that being said and done, let's come back in and let me welcome in some of our honored guests tonight. So let's welcome back to the show, Kathy. How you doing tonight, Kathy?
Hi, Chad.
Hey, welcome back. So the last Hilton Head show you were on, you ended up buying a contract afterwards.
I did. The second after I hit up DVC Resale and I was like, I need more points because I need more 1 and 2 bedrooms.
Okay, well, I'm just saying add-onitis is pretty rampant around this show, so
It got me.
It got you. Okay. Awesome. Well, then let's welcome back again another regular contributor to the show, Sandy. Sandy, how you doing tonight?
Hi, guys. Nice to be back. We're doing great here.
Awesome. And then we'll welcome back from last week, Amy. So, hey, Amy, how you doing?
Good.
Good.
Happy to be here.
Now, just as a quick recap question here, what is your guys' home resorts and how long have you been a member? Kathy, let's go ahead.
Yep. It's 2017. I started with Polly. Started with 50 points on the drive up. I doubled that to 100. Following year points, and then as we just discussed, I have another 100 points for Hilton Head again with resale, which is set to close in about 3 weeks.
Awesome. Sandy, what about you? Where's your home resorts?
Our home resorts are the Poly and Vero Beach, and we've been members since 2016.
Awesome. Amy, and yourself?
We started in 2017 with Poly, and since then we've added Animal Kingdom, Riviera, and Saratoga, and we have a total of 480 points.
Awesome. So you've got some time to pull off whatever it is that you're looking for tonight. So, yes. So, okay, then. The topic of the show tonight is the top 10 things that we love about Hilton Head Resort. So I went and just had my first trip there this last week, and I pulled in some of the Hilton Head super fans that I know that kind of influenced my decision to come back in there and go, hey, Chad, this resort needs a little bit more attention, a little bit more love, and a little bit more research. So we started off with the top 10 things on the Hilton Head Resort. So let's go ahead with number 10. And so number 10 would be, this is Mother Nature's theme park, and it doesn't shut down. The thing that I love about this resort is, and it took a little bit to get to understand, was about half the resort is outdoorsy natured with beach and fishing and all kinds of activities with the water and the beach there in the low country area of Hilton Head. But then you also have the traditional Disney magic with the recreation team and everything else. But I think the number one reason why people should consider going to Hilton Head, especially for 2021 and 2022, is Mother Nature doesn't shut down her theme park, okay? And it is a glorious time out there to come back in and experience all that nature has to offer that Disney has corralled up together here at Hilton Head. So let's come back in and see what everybody else has to say.
I think one of the most beautiful parts of it is just the sunsets. I mean, if you sit in a hammock and you can really do Disney Hilton Head right, it's just so picturesque. Just walking around, just hearing the sounds, you really get to just see beautiful nature. It's something that you just have to experience.
Love, love, love morning coffee on your balcony overlooking the marsh. Does it get any better than that? You just sit there, watch the birds fly by, hear the chirping in the trees. Amazing.
Yeah, and I'm a trained naturalist, so I just love going to Hilton Head and learning new things about the marshes and places that I'm not used to visiting.
When I came back and I had to start pitching this to my family, and they were like, what do you mean we're going there for not just to try it out for a couple of days anymore? We're going to spend 4, 5, 6 days there. They're like, what? What are we going to do? And I had one sentence that got everybody on board that fast. And that's when the staff there told me that you can regularly in the summertime go out and kayak with the dolphins, that they're all up and down that cove out there. They were like, okay, we're in. Okay. Where else can you go and like hang out that close to the dolphins and have them swimming by you? Because that little water area there isn't all that wide. So I can't imagine that the dolphins would be more than 20, 30, 40 feet from you at most.
They get pretty close. They're not as scared as you think they might be.
Yeah, they're pretty domesticated then. I guess they like hanging out there, or I don't know, do they get fed there or what? But
they're just there. They're all over. You'll see them, trust me.
Awesome. Okay, then. So let's move on then to the next one.
All right, so number 9, it's the perfect pre-post Walt Disney World vacation. So one of the benefits of Hilton Head is that you can do this as a long stay or a short one. I've actually done this both ways. I live in New York, so for me traveling down, it's about 20 hours. So I was looking for a halfway part. It's not exactly halfway, it's more like 15 hours in, which is why I recommend doing that 1 or 2 night stay on the way down. But that's a way that you can really understand the beauty of the resort, get to do some of the activities, get to know the staff, and get yourself, well rested to be able to handle the Walt Disney World vacation, because as much as we love it, we know it could be pretty busy. That being said, I also then will stay at Walt Disney World, and then I will hit Hilton Head on the way back up. So I usually do that 2 days. I'll do maybe a week or 10 days at Walt Disney World, and then I'll hit, it's about 5-hour drive coming on its way back up, and do the same thing and just get me basically ready to go that nice drive home, because for me it is a bit of a hike.
I could see that working out really well on the way home because, check out at 11. It's a 5-hour drive. By 4 o'clock, you're ready you've gotten to Hilton Head and you're ready to check into your next room. So that timing just looks perfect to me.
And it's nice to have like a little bit of downtime after the parks. Like, who doesn't love just vegging out by the beach after you've had like this go vacation, right?
Yeah, from what I'm told from the staff there, that's a pretty popular thing, is pre and post on the way. Now, I think it would work better if you're coming from the East Coast, and I asked them about it, and they were like, yeah, believe it or not, we have some other people that do it too. And, from the Midwest, from the West, I was like, wow. So there's a lot to be said for this resort.
Some people actually do it the other way too. They'll come from Florida, and because they live there, then they look for a break and they're trying to go. They'll do Walt Disney World, they'll do Hilton Head, and then they'll come back home. So it's interesting. It's only 5 hours away. 5 hours is not that bad. It's really not.
No, it's not, because like here where I live in Detroit, we're 3.5 from Chicago, depending on traffic. And it's a weekend deal. You kind of plan on it the whole thing. So what's another hour and a half in the car?
Yeah, I can't convince my husband that Hilton Head is on the way to or from Michigan. He's just not on board with that.
I think you need another stopover before you get there, and then you can do it.
Don't tell my wife, Amy, right?
I can do the drive from Michigan to Hilton Head in 1 day. I did it myself with 2 teenagers last month, so I can do it. It wasn't fun, but I can do it.
Yeah, well, right now we have a teen who's driving, or at least doing learner's permit, so we can at least tag team a little bit as you're grabbing the come to Jesus handle and hoping for the best.
Definitely. And then, another really interesting thing about Hilton Head is that it's the only resort with a live mascot who's Shadow the dog. So the backstory there, and jump in guys if I get this wrong, but what I was told is essentially when they were constructing the resort, the construction workers kept feeling like there was something watching them. And so they discovered through the construction process that it was actually a dog that was following them around while they were building it. And so they called it Shadow and kept it on the property. So it's not the original Shadow, but they keep having another puppy that's named Shadow year after year.
That's awesome. So that I mean, I didn't get to meet Shadow and I think she's put up now due to COVID because they didn't want kids flocking to her and petting and that kind of fun stuff. But I did get to see photos, and I think we have one that we can throw up on the screen really quick. She is super, 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 super cute.
Yep.
She is super cute and she is super friendly. And yes, she's still on a very long vacation, but she's being well taken care of. And when COVID is no longer a major concern over here, she will definitely be back because the resort, everybody misses her. She really is a staple of Hilton Head. You do need to meet her. She has her own little doggy door and little areas without the resort. She does make several appearances throughout the week. In a non-COVID environment, you do want to check the schedule, and then she'll normally be walking around, sometimes with Cassie, sometimes with other cast members there, but she's very friendly. You could always go up to her. They take pictures. It's a major thing. It's really cute.
Awesome. And from what I told, she's pretty good friends with Pluto as well, right?
Yes. Pluto will make appearances usually on the weekends as well.
Got it. And not like a regular thing from what I'm told, but he comes to pop in and visit because him and Shadow are kind of BFFs. So, which is kind of cool because it wouldn't be like a Disney resort without some kind of character there. So, kind of cool that you get an occasional Pluto there.
You do.
So one of the things that I love about Hilton Head is number 7, and it's that there are no bad rooms at the resort, but it's also you have really good success for getting what you request, because unlike some of the other resorts on property in Florida, when you call Hilton Head, you're talking to somebody at the front desk. And I actually had this experience. We were there in December. We're going back in March. And I went and had a lengthy conversation with someone at the front desk about requesting a specific studio for my in-laws because I want them to be close to us, but some of the studios have some unique features to them. So none of the rooms at Hilton Head have a parking lot view, which is really kind of a cool thing. No matter where you are in the resort, you're either looking at a marsh, you're looking at the pool, there's a boardwalk view. Some are close to the lobby, some are close to the pool or the activity center, but all of them look at nature. The resort was built within nature rather than taking down the trees. It's actually against the law in Hilton Head to take down a live oak, so they had to build the resort in and around that. That's one of the things I learned from Cassie the last time we were there, which is why every view is just gorgeous. A few of the other things I learned when I was making my room request is that building 18 is actually the most requested building on property. And then there's a handful of studios, I just learned this, there's a handful of studios that don't have a true covered balcony. So that's something to consider when you're looking at your room request. If you're not in Live Oak Lodge, where most of the studios are, if you're out closer to the pool, your studio is going to have a cover, but the rain can still come through because there's not a cover above you, if that makes sense. But most people I know have had really good experience getting the rooms that they requested because...
That's interesting. I didn't pick that up on the... Yeah, you're right. There's 5 studios that are all underneath the Grand Villas. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't sound like the Grand Villa's porch is like flat and watertight. It could just be boards where water drips through. So
it's the master bedroom in the Grand Villa. That balcony is not covered at all.
Right, so there's 5 buildings of them. There's 5 buildings. Mm-hmm. There's 5 Grand Villas, so that's going to happen around. And it's also also to note with the balconies, they're actually the largest ones are in the main lodge. They actually extend out twice as far.
Yeah, you get like I had room 111, and it was like a double width or double depth balcony. You actually had like a little table out there as rocking well chairs. As the rocking chairs. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was exceptionally cool. Like really, 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 really cool there. And I think that the key story here was when I talked with the front desk, they're like, yeah, here's the policy for making a room request. You call, we answer. Yep. So like the people who actually do the work answer the phone and set you up. Because through member services, you put a request in, you're never sure what you're going to get. You're never sure it's to the right place, the right person. Touring Plans doesn't offer their service over to Hilton Head. So, but it really is just as simple as call the front desk. And I talked to several front desk members about it. They're like, yeah, we take pride in working hard to try to accommodate room requests. Now, again, it's a request. It's a best effort accommodation. There's no guarantees. But it sounds like they really take it serious and really go for it, because I know other resorts, you might as well just be, wasting your time just asking for something. And
Yeah. They really do try to accommodate, and it's really important if you have an older person that has knee problems or something like that that needs that special room request, you really do want to mention it, because if it's a one bedroom or a studio, they'll do their best to put you in the lodge, because that's the only area that has the elevators. So that's something key to just be aware. Everything on Hilton Head, nothing's on the ground floor due to flooding. So you definitely want to make sure that if you need that elevator, that you request that, and that would be in the lodge.
yeah, that would be, you can get to the elevator from buildings 11 and building 12, because the balcony's kind of attached right there.
Yeah, correct.
And I'm going to be putting a whole bunch of research up on the My DVC Points wiki for the webpage for Hilton. And I'll go ahead and show this right here as well. I'll add it to the screen. And we've just mydvcpoints.com. If you come over to this resort wiki area right here, you can see all the resorts. And we try to database and catalog everything that we possibly can for the resorts to help members come back in, and everything from room requests to room resorts. If you scroll on down, we've got point charts here. We can show you the room inventory, and we're starting to get to the point where we're mapping out where the rooms are and so you can see what the pictures are actually like from the resort. So you can get a little bit of a view for it ahead of time. It's one of the things that I knew was really popular here in the community. And everything from a studio layout to, we've kind of curated the best room views that we could find on YouTube. So it's all kind of there. Hilton Head is one of the few resorts that doesn't have a 3D walkthrough that we could find, but I'm still going to try to work on that one sooner or later. It's just a matter of time. It's on my bucket list goals. I don't know how I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to find somebody that has a Matterport camera and a license or something, but where there's a will, there's a way, and I'm a pretty persistent person. So, okay. Any other final thoughts here on room requests or rooms there?
Well, we were talking before about how the resort really isn't as big as it seems. So, any room is a good room pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. And you can request like pool view there, which are like the buildings right behind me. You can see on my green screen. So I took that photo this week, but there's 3 buildings that are literally that close to the pool, where you could literally almost throw something into the pool from the balcony. Not that I'm recommending that, okay? Throw a beach ball in. Maybe that. I don't know. Maybe not. So don't want to get myself in trouble here. But they are really, really close to the balcony. I've heard of some people saying it's really great for like grandma to sit out there when the rest of the family is playing in the pool, because she can feel like she's with them and even have a conversation back and forth from the pool deck. And I know people were playing trivia. They were saying you could hear trivia through the loudspeakers and play from your balconies with them as well. It's really, really, really unique deal. And if pool views are your jam, Hilton Head has you covered. There is, 12 2-bedrooms that are right there, right by the pool that you can easily have access to.
Yeah.
The buildings that are on the boardwalk, those 2 bedrooms have an extra balcony. So most of the 2 bedrooms don't have a balcony off of the second bedroom. But the ones that are right there on the boardwalk, you're going to get a second balcony, which is nice if you're sharing space with another family, that they kind of have their own space to spread out and get outside.
Yeah, I did notice that. The boardwalk rooms, which I think are building 13 and 14, have an extra long balcony,
yeah.
right? No, it's not 13. 13
14
is
and
right
15.
up there. 14 and 15.
15.
Yep. Which I was also shocked. I'm like, you guys have a building 13? Like,
It's way off in the corner, too.
I'm just like, wow, like floor 13 is normally just ignored, but we've got it covered. We've got it covered there as well. And just looking at this, Jacqueline makes a comment that it's correct with the Grand Villas. 16, 18, 19, and 28, and 30 have these studios. Those are the room numbers there. We're working on getting that stuff out there on the website for you as well. One of the things that I did notice, which really motivated me to start the detailed stuff at Hilton Head, was Touring Plans and everybody else that creates information about the resorts and the rooms has completely overlooked these guys. So I figured, well, I might as well start where everybody
tell
else
them.
is overlooked. And
Gotta keep these beach resorts a secret.
no.
think
These beach
everybody-
resorts are awesome. They're like 2021, 2022, they're like the best use of your points. Because if you haven't been there before, you don't know what you're missing. Okay?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you know exactly what you're missing when you go to Walt Disney World and there's no fireworks. Okay?
True.
So I think everybody should go to the beach resorts right now. But that's the whole point of this show. And so, okay. And then moving right along here with the number 6 reason why we love this resort is it's a very small resort. It's, I think, 3rd in the list. Let me pull up here on my notes. So yes, it is the 2nd smallest DVC resort, and it has 123 rooms. The only one smaller is Grand Cal at 71 rooms, and the next one up for size comparison would be Grand Floridian at 147. We have the largest studios in all of DVC here, and the 1-bedrooms are the 4th largest. They got beat out by Old Key West, Vero Beach, Grand Cal, and then finally Hilton Head, and they have the 2nd largest 1-bedroom or 2 bedrooms. So if you've been into the Old Key West if you've been into the Old Key West 2 bedrooms and you think these things are huge, they're not much smaller here at Hilton Head as well. And so the Grand Villa is ranked 4th in the list, but it is a really, really small resort with huge rooms. And the other thing I'll come back in and say, I think we're here on this, the point charts aren't all that bad there. When I started looking at point charts here, everything falls in line with what a traditional DVC resort would be. People tend to look at the weekends on Friday and Saturday and get a little sticker shock because there's quite a jump there. But when you compare that Friday, Saturday cost over to like a Savannah View over at Animal Kingdom or even over at Riviera, it's still not that bad. It's a pretty good bang for your buck there. So what are your guys' thoughts on rooms and room views and room size?
Everybody always asks, how do you get into Hilton Head? Because it's such a small resort. Everybody knows that, the room size and the room quantity, you basically have 21 studios, 21 1-bedrooms, 76 2-bedrooms, and 5 grand villas. So everybody that wants to go in there is fighting for the same pool at that 6 and 7 month window. Your best bet is always to go for a 2-bedroom because that's the majority of what they built there. For DVC, obviously 7 months window. As soon as the clock turns over, you got to be on there. Same thing in terms of cash. You have to call directly at 6 months, and that's your best bet. The rooms are very, very big. I've stayed in a studio, a 1-bedroom, and a 2-bedroom, and that's what I'm going to be having again for the next 2 trips. So I'll be able to try and give you videos and things like that. But I mean, they really are beautiful. I've compared it to. I've stayed in Old Key West, so I know what the 2-bedroom is there as well as here, and I didn't find much of a difference, like you said. It's just it's a nice layout. It's very, very big.
And alternately, those weekends, because they are more points, are a little about this much easier to snag. So you can always try for a weekend.
I
And
know when
start
I
on
was
a Sunday.
yeah
Start on a Sunday.
when I was
Yeah.
looking, I would start to check in on a Saturday because if you want Monday, try booking Saturday, Sunday, Monday at the 7-month mark, and then you can start to get in and kind of take advantage of that less desirable weekend point cost. And then if you want to, shave off Sunday and Monday, or shave off Saturday night and Sunday night ahead of time, and then you're right there on Monday where you would want to be anyways. So it's kind of like a mini walking strategy. But when I've looked over the summer, you'll see quite a bit of availability on weekends only and nothing throughout the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my only comment about the 2-bedrooms, we've had 6 people in a 2-bedroom and it was totally comfortable, except there's no place if you have people sleeping in that main living space, there's no place for them to put their stuff. So it's just something to keep in mind as you're packing and getting ready to go. There's no, some of the 2-bedrooms I know have a dresser or some place to put things, but because the TV is built into the kitchen island, there's no drawers or any place for clothes and things.
That's true.
Yeah, that's a pretty common problem in DVC. But is there like a coat closet or anything in the 2 bedrooms?
The laundry, the full-size laundry sort of takes up that closet. And there's a huge closet in the master. It's just that it's a privacy thing, right? If people want to get to their stuff, they got to walk through into that master.
That's true.
Got it. Okay. Well, I guess you could somewhat keep it in the laundry room. Maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a workaround there, but
We'll figure it out.
You make it work. It's worth it. You make it work.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you're not in the room that much anyways. I mean,
No, you're on the balcony much more.
They can keep their stuff on the balcony. We'll just bring a Rubbermaid tub.
I don't know if I do that, but so the other thing that's amazing about Hilton Head, our number 5 point, is that the recreation team leads absolute A+ activities. I mean, between all of the nature activities that they've got going on, all the Disney themed crafts that you would expect to see at any Disney resort, essentially. The trivia by the pool, which is a big seller for this gang. And also they do like ice cream drops throughout the days, during the week. You have like, you can rent bikes there. You can rent bikes that'll go on the beach. Biking is huge on Hilton Head. And then there's also like all the activities that we mentioned before that are linked to more like the naturalist stuff. So you can go kayaking with the dolphins. Manatees will show up on those sometimes. And then of course there's like the regular stuff at the beach and the pools. The beach is stunning. You can walk forever on it. It's flat. It's hard packed. It's amazing. And then there's the campfire that they do periodically during the week, which is just amazing. So with the s'mores and everything. So what do you guys think about the activities that are offered there? What are your faves?
So I try to do pretty much every craft activity with my kid every trip. I think I've done almost all of them. That ranges from the tie-dye, the pillow making, the character tote bags, the character shirts. They used to do, I think it's called Gatako, would you take the fish and do with the painting on the shirts. Wreath making, the salt scrubs, the wind chimes. I think like I said, I've tried to do pretty much every single one. Yeah. DVC does get a discount. You could sign up, obviously, when you get your recreational like list for the week. It'll tell you some of the activities, and also make sure that you go down and ask if there's any that aren't listed, because sometimes just because they don't have that for the day doesn't mean that you can't necessarily do them. My kids absolutely love it. So we make a point to do at least one activity every single day.
Yeah. Raise your hand if you have a shadow tie-dye shirt.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Chad.
I have a pillowcase.
The shame of it
well.
all.
I have a pillowcase as well. That's a must.
Yeah, they have a special design that's like a paw print from Shadow at that resort, which is really fun. So you can do one side of your t-shirt with a Mickey, and you can do the other side of the t-shirt with a Shadow, which is kind of fun. It's a nice little souvenir.
Nice. I did pop into Community Hall when they were doing the tote bag build. So, and I did think that would be an awful lot of fun to come back in and do with family activities, because my kids are all into the crafting and all of that other kind of stuff. It's not something that's ever been my cup of tea, but I did enjoy making tie-dye Mickey shirts with them at other resorts. So I would definitely be all over it.
What's fun too is that they offer activities at both the beach house and at the main part of the resort. So I don't know if we've mentioned this, but the resort is actually on its own little island, and the beach house is further away from it. So you have the fun of being able to go between both of them during the day, which is nice.
Yeah, and Ashley asked this question here. Do we know if crafts are going on right now, or are they canceled due to COVID? I can tell you with 100% certainty they are going on right now as well. So they are running crafts. Maybe it's a little more socially distanced, because it seems like there was a lot of space in the community hall. So they're probably putting like one family per table, and the chair seat 5 people there. So, you know, it's Disney. They're doing a phenomenal job with COVID and handling that as well, and keeping a relatively normal degree of stuff that's going on. I can tell you Friday I ended up working there because checkout was 11, but my flight wasn't until 5. The staff was in there cleaning it all day long. Okay.
Oh,
So
They're also offering those crafts to be taken back to your villa. So they'll actually prepackage them, prepackage the paint. So if you want to do a character painting, they'll give you all the materials. You'll pick it up, do it in your villa, and then return whatever's left.
Nice.
So that's also another option. But other than that, everything is spread out either underneath by the tables by the pool or upstairs in community hall. They're doing an excellent job with COVID.
Yeah. And Jacqueline was saying crafts are going on right now, just space is limited. So they usually have more than one of them, or have more. They usually have more at them one. I didn't follow that one, but anyways, Ashley says, how do we check times for the crafts? When you check in, they will come back in and also post out there for you the craft sheet for the week. It's published on Sundays, and the entire activity list is there.
Yep.
I was impressed. It was like 6-7 things a day. And I was like, every 2.5 hours, they've got something going on. So it looked like they have a team that does this. By the time they get done, they get cleaned up, they take a break, and then they start the next one. It's kind of how it looked like to me as well.
So I just want to give a plug for the nature activities because the nature walks with the naturalist are just they're just fantastic. Cassie does a fantastic job. 20 years ago, if I had known that was a job, I probably would have taken it. But so we were there the week of New Year's, and because they were limiting the number of people on her hikes, she was just doing back to back to back. Every family that wanted to go, she'd do their own hike for them so that everyone could get that done. So she does beach hikes and she does resort hikes. And then during non-pandemic times, she actually does a hike at Pickney Island. So they have a resort van, and she takes a group to Pickney Island once a week to do a hike there. And it's about an 1.5-hour hike. And then she'll also do beach hikes to other parts of the island on the beaches, not just right from the beach house. So she's just, anytime you get a chance to talk to her, she's just a wealth of knowledge, and she's fantastic.
That is awesome. Unfortunately, I was working during the day, and I did not have opportunity to go do any of that stuff, right? I was lucky to be able to run over there for lunch and grab something from Tide Me Over and come back to the room and have lunch and get on the next conference call. But it
looks like they're building some sort of nature center at the beach house. I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but right next to Tide Me Over, there's some doors, and there's a sign that said, like, I can't remember what it said, but I peeked in the windows, and there's all sorts of skulls and shells and things inside. So if anyone watching has some inside info on what they're doing, I'd love to know.
It is under refurbishment, and it did look nature driven there as you're facing the ocean on the right side. So that was definitely there as well. And
Have to check that out in 20 days.
Yeah, Marianne was saying, sounds like my kind of trip, summer 22. That's why we're doing this whole show, Marianne, is to get this out there, and especially the podcast edition of the show will get a lot more people exposed to this as well. And Jacqueline was saying you can also call the desk on Friday or Saturday, and they will email you the resort activity list when it's available.
We did that
as well. So, and Jacqueline was saying that new room is Cassie's baby, and it used to be the arcade, and that makes sense as well, because like, why go to the beach to play video games? So, I could see that decision. I could very, very easily see that one as well. So then,
Number 4, awesome activities for adults. Okay, so obviously the adults can do everything that we just discussed for the kids, but there's some things that are more geared for adults. First of all, fishing is huge at the resort. You can actually rent fishing gear and go either fishing or crabbing down at the dock, and you'll see adults doing that in the very early hours, the very end hours usually, when there's not that many kids around. Another thing that they do is it's a place called Outcast Fishing. That's one of the most popular places on the island where the adults go. Other than that, you can do Groupons are very popular. I suggest looking to just see which ones. There's so many places to name. I can't even mention them. But they all offer deals. There's shark fishing, there's regular fishing, there's crabbing. So there's something for everybody depending on what you're kind of looking for. Golf is huge on the island. So one thing to note is the Heritage Golf Tournament happens every April. So that's the only time that you have to be aware and plan around. It changes. It's usually around like the second or third week. But other than that, you could pretty much find golf anywhere on the island. It ranges anywhere between $50 and $130 per person. My husband has done it. I'm trying to think of the name of it. I think Oyster Bay was what he used. Miniature golf is also very big, whether it be for kids or adults. There's 3 on the island. The names are Legendary, Adventure, and Pirate. Pirate is the closest one. It's more themed for kids, but again, great for adults as well. It's walking distance from the resort, so that's why most people usually go to that. There's water sports everywhere, as Chad had mentioned before. You could do jet skis, there's parasailing, kayaking with the dolphins. The 2 most popular places to sign up for that is Sea Monkeys and Island Water. You can pretty much use a Groupon around that as well. That's what a lot of people do, but those are the 2 main ones that I trust that I've actually seen. Another thing that people don't think about when they think of Hilton Head, there was a ziplining place. It's currently closed right now due to COVID, but I have friends that have gone on it, and it is absolutely amazing. It's for 2 hours, it's $97. And it's really just all throughout the woods and just a great experience, especially, for the adults to kind of get their fix.
I think that's a great point with Groupon. I never even thought of that, but it
Tons.
really makes sense that all of those businesses would be in the entertainment business around the resorts. And, normally we just buy our park tickets and we're done, but with here, you've got all different kinds of providers and everybody else. So that's a really good point.
And you can do it while you're there. You don't have to print it out. You can work it with your phone, sign up. So when you're in the area, just see what pops up and then go. They're really good for business. Really, really good.
I don't know if they're still offering it now, but I know that when we were there last, they offered blue card deals at a lot of restaurants and bars in the area. So that's also something that's really handy for DVC members. As far as the golf, we did the Arthur Hills at the Palmetto Dunes, which is right where the beach house is located. So, and they also offer classes for adults and for kids. So we had the kids take a couple of lessons there as well, which was great.
Sandy, that list actually, there's 16 of them, and it's actually a printout that you can go and grab from the front desk.
Oh, wow.
They give it to you on check-in usually.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't get that one this time, but it's good to know that we should be asking for that next trip. So I hope to have a little bit more research done and on the wiki, but for next time. Right now, I just wanted to focus on the resort, but yeah, I could see you, cobbling together a bunch of these resources there. They did have a QR code that you could scan on the material, and it was also on the TV screen. And I looked at that, and there was all kinds of boating and fishing and other great excursions that were there.
Yep.
I only just had one day that I wasn't working when I was there, so it didn't really pan out for me to come back in and do that. But next time. It's definitely on my list.
Also, it's important to note for the adults, alcohol is at the beach house side. Sometimes it'll be on the other side, but the actual bar is at the beach house. So that's your way to get all your different fills. And they have a regular general menu, and then they'll have different specials depending on what the day is.
And you gave us a tip, Kathy, when we were at the beach house.
Yes, yeah. Sometimes you go onto, you have to just ask for it, but it's not always listed. So just see.
What is it?
What? Oh,
What's...
for the Dole House, the Dole Whip with rum.
Yeah, that's kind of like messing with perfection, in my opinion, but I'll leave that one out there. But I was a little bit shocked that there wasn't any more activities like bars there at the resort, but it was a really, really, really quick walk right across the bridge there to Scott's Fish Market. And, they have a full bar in there, and it looked like all the way up and down that coast or I guess not coast, but like inlet there. Yeah. There looked to be all kinds of places that were in biking distance as well.
That's Shelter Cove, and yes, just look up anything, any restaurant, any list, and it'll come up as Shelter Cove. That's the main little marina area that's within walking distance to the island.
Yeah, and I think for the most part, that's part of the culture there too. Like most people who are staying at the resorts, at any resort on Hilton Head, will end up spending the day at their resort and then in the evenings go out for dinner.
The resort also has done in the past a brewery tour, which was really cool, to Hilton Head Brewery. There's a van.
really great microbrews there, and you can even get them in the gift shop.
Nice.
Just
Yes,
to
yeah.
answer, just to answer Marianne's question, yes, at the pool bar at the beach house. She's asking no pool bar.
Oh, no pull bar. You know, it's a little bit tricky on the pool bar thing there because they were serving alcohol from Tide Me Over when I was there, but at that point in time, it's I don't know if that's a full-time thing that they have some alcoholic beverages there, but I did get a Mai Tai there right at 4:00 one day when they were closing. So I was able to sneak over there and do that. But they do close at 4 right now due to COVID. I'm told that's later. And the pool bar definitely has one over at the beach house, but you have to go. It's seasonal and it was down right now. So, but I mean, that being said and done, it was easy enough to find if that's what you're looking for as well. Coming in through some of the other comments here as well. Alicia from our team who owns Golden Sands Golf Course was just like golf, heart, heart, heart. And yes, golf is what Hilton Head is known for. And then the ziplining thing sounds like fun. $97. Ooh, I don't know if I'd be doing that, but it does sound like fun as well. Gina was saying there's also a plantation side. History lessons are fun for teachers. And then similar to that, Jacqueline says Bluffton is another close area that has great Groupons. And Marianne asked, what's the easiest way to fly into Hilton Head? There is an airport right on the island. And on your departure and takeoff, we flew right over the resort. We were flying in, and I was like, I know those red roof buildings. And so it was literally like 3 miles from the resort and really super quick, really super easy. Last summer, I had one way from Detroit to Hilton Head Island airfare for $100. And then this trip, I found it for like $167 round trip, changing planes in Atlanta. So it's not all that hard on the wallet to fly in and out of Hilton Head.
Chad, I know you got amazing deals. Another option though is just the Savannah Airport because it's only 40 minutes away, and a lot of people, depending on where you're coming from the country, you'll get better deals flying into Savannah versus Hilton Head. So that's definitely an option for you.
Yep.
Yeah, because it seemed like Delta, American, maybe one other carrier came into Hilton Head. And because Detroit is such a Delta town and Atlanta's their hub, which is really close, it was just a little regional jet. So you're right. Always shop around. Savannah didn't look to be too far as well. Lauren was saying, sign me up for mini golf. And Jacqueline makes that exact comment. Savannah is close, 45 minutes. And it, she's saying that there is just a few airlines that do there. Some even fly into Charleston, which is about a 2-hour drive away. And yeah, she's saying that it's amazing that I flew into Hilton Head. It was a great little airport, okay? I mean, real tiny, like a very, very small regional airport. You don't need an hour and a half to get through security there. So I really enjoyed the airport there and that experience as well. And then Jacqueline says Southwest is supposed to be coming soon. So that will be a welcome addition as well. Anytime Southwest goes someplace new, my heart warms. I'm hoping they get more service out of Detroit.
So the number 3 reason that we love Hilton Head is the reasonable point chart. I love Hilton Head because of the nature, but the reason I discovered Hilton Head was because of the point chart. A couple of years ago, my son's spring break fell close to Easter, and I couldn't stomach spending the points to be on property. And so we looked at Hilton Head, and it was just such a reasonable. I think we paid 125 points for a week that first time that we went to Hilton Head. So during the lowest season, like right now, a studio at Hilton Head is 6 points. And if you've always wanted to stay in a Grand Villa and don't have a lot of points, it's only 27 points a night for a Grand Villa in January. And even in the summer, it's a good value. And like we've talked about, the weekends can be pretty high, but if you just want to do that 5 nights, it's really a great value. And like I said, it's that Easter thing is what usually brings us back to Hilton Head at least every 2 years for spring break, because our passes are blocked out at Disney anyway. So, and I don't want to just do a resort stay. If I'm going to do it, I want to do it at Hilton Head.
That is an excellent point with the gold passes being blocked out at Easter, but you get reasonable points over at Hilton Head. And I know that the whole reason why I pulled off my trip there.
I know, right? You keep telling
they
everyone.
they haven't caught on to that yet. They have not caught on to that.
21, Chad.
You haven't caught on to the broadcast and the podcast that follows this yet with this. No, we're telling everybody. Hilton Head rocks. That's the whole point of the show.
Every single time we do a beach show, we're always like, shh, don't tell anybody though.
No, everybody can go. I just don't want Disney to change the point charts. That's fine.
Okay. Well, they'd have to give and take someplace because they just can't just artificially increase them. But part of what led me to do this was I saw availability at 6 points a night. And I was like, if I'm going to do research and spend family points on this, I can get away with five nights at 6 points a night, like 30 points. I can sneak that out of the family point budget and not have any splaining to do. Okay.
It's one night somewhere else. One night.
It's true.
Think about it. It's crazy.
Yeah. But the point charts were really reasonable. And even if I looked at it, like I said earlier on the show, even Sundays, Saturdays, the weekends in Hilton Head, they're still less than Riviera. Okay. Like, it's not all that unreasonable. People think it's really bad there. I just think they see the jump and get sticker shock from that. But if you compare it to any place else, it's on par for me. And
That would be my biggest advice, is to try it out at the low points and then see everything that it is just as normal, and then you can really see what it can be in the summer, because the summer it's night and day. There's something to do no matter what time you go, but at least it's a taste to say, okay, I really do want to see it in its heyday. I want to come back next year in June, July, August. And that's usually how it gets everybody.
that's exactly what I did. I wanted to come back in and do this research trip, and the whole time I'm there going, I have to bring Laura and the kids. I have to bring Laura and the kids. And oh yeah, we're getting a 2-bedroom. So we'll just splurge on some points here and not try to cram into a 1-bedroom, which will make them all happy as well. Okay. But yeah. And then Jacqueline makes this comment here that they've already changed it once, changed the point chart once a couple years ago. And she goes, and it was the best kept secret. But we don't believe in secrets here. We believe in helping people make informed and educated decisions. So
All right, so that brings us to number 2, numerous dining options. So Hilton Head is kind of known as the Hamptons of the South. It's a very wealthy tourist area. When you're driving down Hilton Head, can be a pro and a con. You can't really tell what is a CVS versus what is an upscale dining restaurant because it's all themed the same. So everything has that kind of brown, green kind of awning into it. It's to blend in. The restaurants themselves, though, they stand out. A couple places that I love, if you think about it in groupings, there's 3 main areas. There's Shelter Cove, which is right near the actual resort. There's Sea Pines, which you need to pay $8 to get into. And then there's Caligny Plaza, which is kind of like a shopping area and eatery. Amazing restaurants everywhere you go. My top ones would probably be Salty Dog. That's located in Sea Pines. That was the first time I tried alligator. I am a New Yorker. I was never thought in a million years I would try alligator. It tastes like chicken nuggets. It's delicious. That, in addition to their lobster seafood pasta bowl, is unbelievable. One Hot Mama's, best place for barbecue. We've always gone there. Our past trip, due to COVID, I was a little concerned because just the landscape of where it's located in a row of restaurants. So I didn't feel comfortable eating inside. They were doing different ways that you can eat outside. You can eat, there was one blocked off section, and then you could do takeout. So we actually did, takeout and brought it back to our villa and had it then, and even 20 minutes later the food was still amazing. So highly recommend One Hot Mama's. The other would be Skull Creek. There's 2 parts to Skull Creek. There's Dockside and the Boathouse. The Dockside is the part that's inside. It's a little bit more upscale. The Dockside is more like the boat side, but the Boathouse side is more of a party area and outdoor setting. Slightly different food, but you can request food from each side. And there's a beautiful deck that just kind of goes out and with the palm trees and everything. It's just beautiful. For breakfast, I recommend Hilton Head Bakery. It's walking distance from the resort. Amazing types of coffees, probably the best desserts. You want to compare about desserts that you normally see in Walt Disney World, that's where you want to go. Yeah, that's pretty much my top 4 that I'm going to give. I'm curious to what everybody else's thoughts are.
So we really enjoyed Low Country Backyard Barbecue. That one was really yummy when we were there, and they had live music going on. It just had this really nice kind of homey vibe to it. So we loved our meal there. So I'd highly recommend that one. Amy, do you have any faves?
We're terrible. We haven't really gone off property to eat. I don't dislike cooking, so we just get groceries and cook in our villa.
I think that's a valid option, because you've got a great villa there to do that. And I think from grocery delivery standpoint, they were saying Instacart was like the leading place that does that. You can also do kind of like a curbside pickup at Walmart or Publix for grocery options there. I'm a barbecue nut, and I went and tried Bully's Barbecue, which is right down the street. Have great things to say about their pulled chicken. That was just absolutely delicious. Probably some of the best that I've had. Normally in a barbecue competition, you don't pull chicken. So when I saw it on the menu, I was like, I'll try it and give it a shake. And it was really, 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 really good. So, and I heard somebody in the hot tub talking about it as well. And they were saying, yeah, go try the pulled chicken there. And like an idiot, I tried everything. And come to find out, the guy was right. I should have just taken his advice and listened to it and got all chicken. But that was really good. Scott's Fish Market right across the bridge there. The front desk gave me a buy one, get one free coupon. And of course, I'm there by myself. So I got the free meal and took it back and gave it to the front desk staff and was like, here, have lunch tomorrow or something. Like, you'll need this. And I'm like, no, I kind of have to talk about other different places because the listeners want to hear about them. So I went to, huge shout out over to Tia's Latin American food. Huge, huge, huge shout out to them. That was absolutely delish. They had a really cool blood orange margarita in a skull cup that I didn't see. And I was like, y'all ought to be, this is like Disney-like. Y'all ought to be selling this skull cup. And they were like, well, you can get it on Amazon. And I looked, and there's similar ones on Amazon. But I was like, it's still a missed opportunity, because had you not said anything, I'd have given you $20 for the cool skull cup from the deal, right? Because, I mean, this is a Disney kind of clientele that I'm talking to, and tiki bars and all that. And then I also have to confess, I did cheat one day. I didn't have a lot of time to go back in and get lunch someplace. So I did drive over through the Wendy's drive-thru and was really happy to announce the menu prices there were similar to mainland and all of the deals and promotions that they had going on there. So if you need a budget-conscious meal, it looks like the fast food restaurants and the chains are still offering the national promotions. So I thought that was really cool as well. And that's pretty much it, because I didn't have a whole lot of time to go out and chase down eating, because I had to wait till after 8 o'clock to go eat dinner because the sun sets and I'm doing research and all kinds of fun stuff. So that was kind of my days, right? Get off work, run around the resort, take pictures, video, notes, whatever, and then hot tub time. And then when you get kicked out of there at 8, go find something to eat. Okay.
For
I did.
Scott's, go ahead.
I had one more notable experience there as well. I kept working on something. I think I had to get a podcast episode out. So I didn't get done editing the podcast episode till 12:30 on Sunday night. And so I started looking for food and ended up getting the gas station hot dogs at 12:30 was the best we could come up with. So that's there too. Like if I don't recommend doing that, but at least gas station hot dogs had me covered, because that was it. But any other final thoughts here on this before we turn over to the crowd comments?
Just so you know, just in case you don't have a special coupon, Scott's is actually part of that 10% off. So you could just show your DVC card and you'll get money off for that. And as far as the special cups, One Hot Mama's also does specialty cups. So check that out next time.
Awesome. And then Gina was saying Sea Pines was so great, and she loves Salty Dog as well. and the Hilton Head Social Bakery. It's amazing. She says Walmart does deliver, and they deliver to the resort as well. And she's saying, I can't wait for the smokehouse to be rebuilt as well. So it sounds like, well, I mean, it is the Carolinas. Like, good barbecue is abundant in the Carolinas. Okay, it's all a vinegar-based stuff, which I'm a little bit regional in mine and prefer a little more mesquite from Texas or a little molasses-based out of Kansas City. But they do have good barbecue there in the Carolina area. It's like you can't really throw a stick and not hit a good barbecue place in the South. So other than that, I mean, I did learn as well. I was really shocked that there was no table service restaurant. I'm like, how can you have a deluxe resort with no table service restaurant?
It was part of the agreement, right?
Yeah.
It was part of the agreement for Disney being able to build there, that they couldn't have a table service restaurant.
Right. That's correct.
Yeah, because they wanted to send more business to the local mom and pops that are there as well. So once I understood that, I was like, okay, because I know there was a little bit of a rocky start when they came into this as well, but they did figure out something. And yeah, so that was the number 2 reason why we like this.
So the number 1 reason, do we do a drum roll?
Okay.
The cast members are amazing. I can't even say, enough good things about our time there with the cast members. It's like you become a member of the family. I don't know how they do it, but like from like midday on your check-in, they know your kids' names, they know your names, everybody knows each other. It's just fantastic. You really do feel like you're part of the extended family there. And even going there as a first-time visitor, it's so warm and welcoming, and they're just, hospitable. I don't know what you guys think about your experiences with the cast members when you've been there, but ours have just been phenomenal.
Yeah, it doesn't. I can't even explain how different it is, comparing. I mean, all cast members across the board are amazing, but there is just something that sets these ones apart. They become some of my closest friends. They really are family from the second that I go step on property, the second I leave, and even also, between social media or just keeping in contact, watching them, the updates, the things that they do while you're on property. They will go, if they see you from all the way across in a hammock, they'll make their way over just to make sure that everything is okay. They get to know everything about every guest. They'll let you know of special things that they might, that your child might be interested in, or if Cassie's doing a nature walk and you didn't sign up, so they'll come over to you and make sure that you did want to do it, that way you don't miss it. Times with Blue and Shadow, when they come back, they stand out. They're not there right now, obviously due to COVID, but between Blue's stories, and you just sit in this environment where it's so welcoming, and it's such a nice environment for you to just really relax and just feel at home.
So just to backtrack a little bit there for people who might not know the resort, there is a cast member named Blue who basically is a storyteller. He's able to do magic tricks, and he just really is there to engage everyone who's staying at the resort with a little bit of the history of the area, with a little bit of storytelling and fables of the area. And as well, like, he's often the company for Shadow, and he's just phenomenally great with everyone that he encounters. We had such a great time listening to his stories and watching his magic tricks, and he just takes the time, to be with the kids. It's lovely.
He will also have the kids sign his banjo case, so you're actually part of the Hilton Head family forever. Yeah. So it's just a nice note. He'll try and teach them, whether it be whatever he can do. He knows so many instruments, depending on what he's showing and what he's doing, but he really tries to involve every child, depending on what session he has. You must go see him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we went back after 2 years, and it was amazing that Cassie remembered me and remembered my son and his friend. And she didn't just remember who I was, like, she remembered things we talked about. We talked about the fact that there was no Disney movie that features a snail as a main character, and what a shame that was, and how there should be a snail. And she just remembered that we had that conversation. So it was just really cool to have that experience. And when the first time we were there, my son was looking for a specific pin, and when someone traded it with the store, they held on to it. And the next time he walked in, they said, "Hey, we have that pin that you were looking for." And so that was really neat. It's just a cool thing.
The other thing too to note is that they really love their job. This isn't just let me write this down and okay, Kathy is coming today. They really want you to be happy. They seeing you enjoy it makes them happy, and they tell their other cast members, and they have their own stories. So just know that it's really authentic.
I think the beach resorts in particular epitomize what we all have as our memories of kids going to Walt Disney World and having that amazing cast member service and that amazing kind of interaction with the cast members. And that was the little something extra that made Disney amazing. And so because they don't have the theme parks to depend upon, they really put that into overdrive, and it's amazing.
My thoughts there were I had really, really, really high expectations from talking with the three of you before going in there. They absolutely nailed it, blew it away, everything. I had to spend a couple of minutes with them, kind of sharing with them what I was doing with my resort wiki and helping DVC members make informed and educated decisions. And I have to tell you, if I go to Orlando, I get this like, we're following you with like, what are you doing kind of a approach. And what I found there was very welcoming, and we're like, yeah, tell everybody about how awesome we are. What do you want to know? We'll sit down and tell you this. And I'm like, well, I don't want to know anything you wouldn't tell a normal guest, because I don't want to say anything that's going to get anybody in trouble, but I do really want accurate, informative information that comes back in and helps you guys not be so much of the hidden gem, but the proudly on display gem. And so that's kind of the goal of this show, the goal of what we do. There will be a link to the show in the Resort Wiki for everybody else to come back in and see on a going forward basis. But I was just absolutely blown away at how nice, friendly. They love their job, okay? And I was blown away as well with how many of them transferred from Orlando up to the Hilton Head area. And I'm just like going, wow, they love Disney. They want to stay with the company. They want to keep doing what they're doing. And they were just like really, really top notch. And I have a lot of friends that are cast members, just throughout the years. And I don't have any of them that I consider a friend there. But I feel like I next time I come back, I will have friends that are cast members there based off of this trip, to your guys' points.
And they retain the employees there. There's very, very low turnover. So, there's families that have been going for 30 years and still know, Mike or Michelle. They've just, it's a comforting thing to go into face.
Right? When you get drawn into this amazing resort, that's part of the magic of it. You plan on going back year and year after year and seeing those same people that helped to make it that magical on that first trip. And so it speaks to the resort, and it speaks to like the longevity of what they've been able to accomplish there.
Yeah, coming into some of the crowd comments here as well, Jacqueline was saying that they are the #1 rated cast members of all of the DVC resorts. And my experience would back that up, and I've been every place but Hilton Head and Aulani so far. So by far, you guys were, I've been every place but Vero Beach and Aulani. So I'm making it to the beach resorts as my last ones. And Aulani's coming up in a week, and hopefully Vero, we'll see how the points go. I'm kind of running low on points. if y'all can relate to that one. But Gina was saying that it's cruise level quality in terms of the cast members. I haven't been on a cruise ship, but I can't imagine they could surpass what I've seen there from Hilton Head as well.
I've been on 8 cruises. I will agree to that.
Yeah. And so Lauren was saying that the cast member experience sounds like perfection. I'm going to have to add Hilton Head to my list.
Definitely.
And that is the whole point of doing this show today as well. And Jacqueline comments and says, some have watched my youngest grow up. It's amazing. She is 11, almost 12. And then Blair says, searching flights to Hilton Head as we speak. So I think it's mission accomplished here. And then our buddy Grant Peter says, another resort to add to my list. Thanks. And Grant's stuck in Canada with you, so we're just torturing him a little bit as well.
Yep. That's okay, Grant. We're going to blow it out next year when we can all travel again.
But that's all we've got for this show. We ran a little bit late tonight, but that's okay because we love talking about DVC resorts and doing our cast compliments as well. I know you guys mentioned a few people tonight. I honestly didn't write down names, but I will give a huge cast compliment to everybody that was there on my stay last week. I did not have a negative experience in the least. You guys were all amazing, and I thank them so much for that. That being said and done, I think that's it. I want one last final shout out and thanks to our sponsor, DVC Resale Market, as well. And if you're watching the show, join us at discord.mydvcpoints.com for our Patreon cast member after party inside the Chad's Hard Ticketed event room. I think the team had a little bit of fun naming that one as well. So that's all we've got for tonight, folks. We'll be back next week, and I think we're going to be talking about comparing some Epcot festivals next week. So Food and Wine, International Festival of the Arts, Flower and Garden. The team's got some really cool stuff lined up there, but we will see you all back. I will be back in 2 weeks. But you can find me on the My DVC Points podcast because those episodes are recorded and they'll be out this week. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a great night. We'll be back. Good night.